know y'all not talking about the meeting time. No. Oh, yeah. Shh. Don't say anything.
Ready, Gary?
Yep.
Okay, I call to order the Roseville Town Board regular meeting, August 3rd, 2021. Thanks everyone for coming, and we will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing, and Pastor Jim Upchurch, Church of Christ Church in Roseville, will kind of do the invocation for us, so thanks. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yep, thanks.
Let's pray. Our great God, we thank you for your goodness to us in our nation and in this town. And I ask now for our elected officials that you would give them wisdom and love, that they would serve with justice and righteousness, that they may faithfully and effectively serve to promote the good of all people in our town. I also ask for the firefighters, the EMS, the law enforcement in our town. Please give them safety and well-being in their homes and on the job. Please give them courage and compassion to faithfully serve and protect this community, and give us gratitude that we would make their job easier as we relate to them in love and thankfulness. We pray for our teachers and staff at our schools. Please protect them from the coronavirus outbreaks and other dangers that would keep them from serving well, that they may excel in educating our students. We also ask for the citizens of Roseville. Please grant us love, that our suspicions would disappear, our hatred would cease, that we may live together in justice and peace and harmony. And please, Father, grant faithfulness to all of your churches, that truth would prevail over falsehood, that hope would triumph over despair, and that love would conquer all hatred. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Jim. Appreciate that.
Triple amen.
Okay, board. This is a little fun time here of our meeting. We get to recognize a citizen, and I would like to recognize a citizen that is in attendance with us tonight. Just take a few minutes to do that. This is an effort from us, the board, really to engage our citizenry and bring back, just some engagement with our folks. So by doing that, we just showing some appreciation for our citizens to help keep this small town charm alive. So that's my goal, and we're attempting to show the appreciation to all segments of our populations. And tonight, this is a young lady that is an example of great leadership. And in our next generation, I think our young people have a lot to bring to the table. So this is just one. This young lady is one of the many of a very self-disciplined, creative, and dedicated students that we have in this small town. I was honored to see her receive her diploma from Roseville High School a couple of months ago. She maintains an honor roll throughout the middle and high school. She graduated summa cum laude from Roseville High School. She loves to play music, plays multiple musical instruments in high school and band, and was lead singer in her church youth praise band. She accepted to go to UNC Honors Program, ECU Honors Program. I said UNC, that's a bad thing, didn't it? To ECU Honors Program, and will start her BS in chemistry in August. So with all of that, that's not what we're recognizing her for. We're recognizing her for we're recognizing her for something that many of us have once or twice entertained the idea to do ourselves, and that is to author a book. At age 14, Joanna started writing her first book with the goal of publishing it before age 18, which was completed in December of 2020. I have my copy here tonight that I ordered online, and you can go online and get those. So I have my copy. I have started reading it, but I have to say I haven't finished yet. The name of it is If I Grant a Wish. What I've read so far is very good, and I would recommend it to anybody that does a lot of reading. The plot is very interesting from the start. Really, it has a small town feel to it, and I think that may be by design where she lives at. But it does have a small town feel to it when 3 teenage girls was awakened by an earthquake and they immediately set out to help their neighbors. As you may guess by the title, the girls have a special and unique gifts, and that is granting wishes. So as we honor this, her book continues to receive 5 stars from her readers. And Joanna, I hope you can continue to build your reader list and maybe become Roseville J.K. Rowling's one day. Because I hear you're working on your second book already. So Joanna, Kirkendall, thanks for coming tonight. I would ask you if you would like to come up to the mic if you want to say anything to the board to come up there. And you can say anything you would like.
Well, I just want to start off by thanking everybody for their support. Much of the writing process was difficult, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without everybody's encouragement. Even if it's like, even if you didn't know I was writing, it was always like, oh, you can do it. And you can put your mind to it, and you can achieve anything, even at my age. So I want to just say how much I appreciate all of you for just being here and supporting me for your sense of community. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Mom and Dad, would you like to say anything at all? Opportunity to say? You want? No? Okay. That's good.
Have her moment.
How about the board? Anything the board wants to say?
I just want to say congratulations.
Yeah.
I often say I'm going to write a book, and I have lots of journals, and I haven't gotten there yet. But 14, man, you making me feel like I got to get hot like tonight. So congratulations. What an awesome, awesome thing that you've accomplished. I can't wait to see what you do in the future. So
And to-
congratulations.
And to do it by 18 too, it's really amazing.
I also wish you congratulations. Congratulations. I'm excited for you and everything that the future holds for you.
Yeah. At some point, I'm going to get you to sign my copy because it may be very valuable one day to have one that new. If you don't mind coming back up, I know you sat down, because I want to just give you this and maybe someone can take a picture.
Awesome.
Mom and Dad, if you'd like to come up, you can too. If you want to be in the picture, or you want to take the picture, you want to come on up here. We'll be in front
That
of
is
the board.
phenomenal.
Board, you want to gather around?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. So just a little appreciation for just being a great citizen. So
Oh, Paul.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
She's a youth leadership kid, too.
Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you very much for that, board. Appreciate taking a little time for us to be able to do that. I know you had a chance to review the agenda. We did make one change. We are going to open the public hearing number 3, and then we will table it. They're not quite ready. So other than that change, is it any other changes to make to items of business tonight?
Motion to approve agenda as stated with the continuation of public hearing C3.
Great. Got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, appreciate that. I think it's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Next item, Board Liaison Reports. Commissioner Sutton, Economic Development. Is anything you want to report from them?
Okay.
Jump right on it.
Yeah, you did. I'm used to hearing Mayor Pro Tem's name.
Oh,
first.
let me just say, Michelle is not here tonight, as you can obviously see, that usually sits to my left here. She is out of town. We'll be back later this week, so we do miss her a lot.
Yes, awesome. Well, I just have a couple of things. I think Michael's going to give a more detailed update later on. Michael, our Economic and Community Manager, Community and Economic Development Manager. Is that title right? We are still working for the Roseville Downtown Development Association. We're still working on that visioning statement. You've heard me mention that a couple of times. The group did take some time off in July. We hope to meet in August and have that finalized, so looking forward to that. And I did get an opportunity in mid-July, July 13th, to attend the home base business ribbon cutting at the Chamber. Roseville has a lot of home-based businesses, and hopefully Rachel will share how many there are, because I don't remember the number, but there are a lot of people doing some good stuff in Roseville, even if they don't have a brick and mortar. A lot of good stuff in Roseville. And then one thing that I'm super excited about, Michael is probably sick of hearing me say, when are we doing this? August 18th, Cobblestone, which is the development that will be at Main and Young, our first mixed-use commercial/residential development. I say retail/residential development. We will have a groundbreaking. I'm so excited. I can hear cheers in the background. Yay! So you all know, you probably heard me over and over. I'm like, we need to diversify our tax base. So getting this opportunity is huge, huge, huge for Roseville, and I'm very excited, and I can't wait. So I invite you all to come out August 18th. That's all I have.
Great, thanks. There's a lot going on. I'm interested to hear from Rachel. Hadn't heard from her a while at a meeting, so I'm glad she could come.
Yes.
One mention about Cobblestone, since you brought it up. You know, they do have the fencing up down there. I've got a couple calls from somebody said, what's going on down there with that fencing? It is ugly, is what I'm told. And you know, it probably is, but I take it sort of like the ugly duckling. It's going to grow up one day to be what you describe in a real nice place. So, so we'll just deal with the ugliness or the construction work or whatever inconvenience it's going to be for a while, and it'll be a while before they finish down there. But it's going to be a really nice development once they get it completed.
A beautiful swan to be.
A beautiful swan, that's right. So with that, we'll move to Commissioner Vilga on Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
Yeah, we met on July 28th, discussed, we have final pricing in for the farm, which will, be discussed at our next meeting, possibly. Also talked about bond discussion, what they're looking for to bring to the board, and how to go about informing the public what we're looking for as well. Discussion about the Cobblestone Greenway. There was a greenway that went across their property. They're moving that. The windscreens were up at the ball fields now, so make sure you take a look at those at our baseball fields. Wayfinding signs will be going up soon, and they are planning on the Fall Fun Fest in October still. So, yeah. We have some new appointments we'll be talking about soon.
Yeah, I have had a couple calls on that Greenway, so you didn't mention, what is the solution and how long will it be before it's back?
I'll have to check with JG about that, but they have a proposed solution to it, but I'm not sure where
Okay.
they're at on that.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Paul. Commissioner Wilson, Public Safety.
The quarterly public safety meeting, which has includes the fire department chief, the police chief, and representatives from Wake EMS. We're scheduled to meet Thursday at 11 o'clock, so I'll have a report at the next meeting with that one. That's a quarterly meeting. The Fire Department Town Board meets next Monday night, which I'll be represent that as our liaison between the two boards. And the purpose, one of the purposes of that meeting, hopefully, is to put the final touches on what they want included in the unification agreement in the proposed merger. So hopefully we'll have that in our hands sometime next week.
Is that a public meeting?
No.
Gotcha. Thank you, Jack.
Very good. Anything else, Jackie? All right, Commissioner Sneed, North Carolina League of Municipalities.
I do not have any updates on that, but I am happy to say that I informally met the gentleman who is the vice president, I believe, of the league. So my goal is to have a conversation to him to find out what I could possibly do to be more involved.
That'd be great.
So hopefully next time I'll have an update.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate that. And now, we will have the Chamber of Commerce report. So come on up, Rachel. I know it's a lot going on, and you got a lot you can report, so
I'll make it quick as always.
that's okay.
I'll
Take
make
your
it
time.
quick. I'll give you guys, this is just a sample, it's not a sample, it's the actual. So we have, and I'll cover it in the report of what it actually is. And yes, you'll see the town on there, but this is kind of an effort between Michael and I
Thank you.
to make it, to reach
Thank you.
our business community and reach our residents. So, you'll see that on there. Thank you. Be as contactless as possible.
Thank you.
Nice.
These were all produced, of course, by a local vendor, a local chamber member. But I just wanted to say, I didn't realize how long it had been, actually, until I think Robin called me and was like, will you be there? My plan was to be outside, of course, like the chief of police at the National Night Out. That was my plan for tonight, but the rain happened, and I'm okay with that. But just to kind of highlight some things that have been going on with the chamber, I do want to say congratulations to Joanna. So proud of her. I do have the book. I have read the book. Mine is autographed, too. So I will say you may want
Is
to
it
keep that.
dated? If it ain't
Huh?
dated, don't mind. I'm gonna get mine dated.
Listen, I have, and it was actually, she said, I'll deliver it to you, Miss Rachel. So, yeah, I do have my book, so get your copy. Just gonna go over a couple of things. We've done quite a few things that you all have been present at, which I will say, thank you. I will say there has been, over the years, the participation from this board has been unbelievable. Present at the events, active at the events, stepping in when needed at the events is always a pleasure, and it's always good to see you all, and it's good for the businesses too. I will say that means a lot to the business community when you show up and you're present and you're actually engaging with them, so I do want to thank you for that. Talking about some of our events, our cash mob has been a huge success. Michael and I talked about this a little bit before we kicked it off. We kicked it off with Jacoby at What's Cooking. That was a huge success. We just had another one with Susanna Antiques, which was unbelievable. The flow was nonstop from the time we started to the time it ended and afterwards. Our next cash mob will be on the 20th at Rossellini's. So that will be a true lunch cash mob. We do have all of our businesses picked out throughout the end of the year. We will announce them each month as we go along, just because we don't want someone to say, I'm not going to support this one, I want to support the next one. So we want to make sure all of our businesses get support. So we try to do a mixture of retail and do a mixture of lunch places because it is in the middle of the day. Also, we did the Roseville High School Senior Parade, which I know some of my businesses were not happy about. Mayor, I did talk to that business and kind of smoothed it over a little bit, so we're friends again. But I did talk to them about the next one. Roseville High School, that was kind of a prequel to homecoming. The high school has been trying really hard to connect with the town and kind of get past that bypass. So they've talked about doing a homecoming parade for quite a few years. So the senior parade was kind of a kickoff for them to look at what they would need to do internally, what we could do here from the town. And so they've given me 2 dates, a Saturday or a Sunday. So they're looking at October 9th or October 10th. Now, We will not interfere with our businesses. Hopefully, we're leaning more towards the 10th because that will actually kind of be the kickoff to homecoming week is what we're looking at doing. One of the things we know, we had a very successful football season. If you read the Wake Weekly, Byron actually talked very highly of the town of Roseville. I don't know if you all saw it, but he spoke very highly of the community and actually thanked the community and the town for its support and its support of the high school. So that was something I thought was really nice also. We've been doing ribbon cuttings, as you mentioned. Our home-based business ribbon cutting was something, I have a lot of home-based businesses. I won't give you the numbers because they're growing. But I will tell you, we didn't have the participation we wanted, which is always the case. But they all said, Rachel, when are you going to do the next one? So we will do another one to make sure that we include them. But we want to make sure they get the same touch and feel as our brick and mortar businesses also. I also have on the list the 18th of Cobblestone because our goal is to do one ribbon cutting, groundbreaking, something once a month. That is the goal. We're also recognizing business anniversaries. A lot of businesses are relaunching since COVID, so we're recognizing those too. So we're looking at things to do for the months of September, October, November, December. Yeah, we're looking at those. Launch Roseville, we're currently accepting applications for our fall cohort. So if you know someone, it doesn't matter how long you've been in business. If you don't have a business, if you have a business idea, please send them to us. That has been a huge pipeline for us in connecting with businesses, helping our businesses, providing them with resources to make sure they can sustain themselves, providing them with another network to make sure they can grow. They're also a part of Launch Wake County, which is the larger network. I think I've mentioned before, I participated in the program, but I did launch Wake Forest. You know, didn't want to do Roseville, but I do love us. I did launch Wake Forest, and I tripled my business. So I will say the program works, definitely works. The launch reunion, which will be a combination of all of them. I think the mayor had came to the last one we had, which we had at the Renaissance Center in Wake Forest. It's a great event.
Is it in Wake Forest again?
I don't know yet.
Don't know yet?
Yeah, don't know yet. We try not to keep it on this side of town. It is Launch Wake County, so it is all of Wake County. You're looking at Apex, you're looking at Knightdale, a bunch of other places, so we're trying to spread the love. Also, My Roseville Connection series, which is our online series, we talked about it in April. When I was here, the mayor has been on, he will be on for part 2 in September. We have done the Booster Club, part 1, part 2, which was a huge success for them. And then also the key part of that one was we actually brought on the student athletes. The student athletes had an opportunity to talk about themselves, talk about their training, kind of what they look forward to. And a lot of them are using that as their recruitment profile also because it shows their leadership and saying that I participated in the town. The mayor was commenting, that was a huge thing for them. The mayor was commenting, blah, 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 blah. So really great for them. Also, Paul Vilga has also been a regular for us, so that pops up quite a bit in our listing. Our new big hit is the new resident welcome package, so I do want to say thank you to Chief back there. The response has been a little overwhelming from this whole welcome wagon thing. I saw, actually someone sent me a copy of a post. They said they had a bad day and they were upset with their HOA and they were not liking Roseville. They said, and then Roseville Chamber and the police showed up with a welcome package, and it made it all better.
That's awesome.
So I thought that spoke volumes to it, to actually let people know. So all of this is something that we had talked about, and we partnered with the town, police department, fire department, and also our businesses. This is one of those benefits to being a chamber member. So in that welcome package, only chamber members are in that welcome package. We will deliver them. Chief Simmons back there has dedicated an officer to go with us, to go out to kind of help with that humanizing the badge and community policing, to make sure they have that positive interaction when they're new to the town. So that's been really big for us. Business recruitment. I think I've mentioned before, one of my interns did a lot of research for us and compiled a list of over 300 businesses in Roseville that have been started since 2017. Businesses I didn't know existed, businesses you don't know exist, but they're in Roseville. A lot of them are home-based businesses. Even some attorneys, believe it or not, which I was really surprised about. We have quite a few attorneys that are actually based here in Roseville. One of the things that this will help us with in our outreach to them is it will increase our diversity numbers. If you know anything about diversity businesses, getting brick and mortar and commercial space has always been a challenge. So you see them lean more towards being one in a workspace or a co-working space or work from home. This will help us increase our numbers. When you ask me that question, what does our numbers, as far as what our diversity looks like in Roseville, when I kind of look on paper, we don't have it. But when I look at all of these businesses that are in Roseville that we didn't know existed, we have more than enough, actually, just from that one list. So what the chamber has done with one of those pieces of the mailings, the one that you have with the town on it is what we send to new residents, and that has gotten us our biggest response of mailing that out, which is the one that has the town logo and the chamber logo on it with a little snippet of a message. What we do is put a label on there that has a QR code. At this point, everybody should know how to use a QR code. So we put a QR code on there, they scan it, it takes them directly to a form to fill out to tell us if they want us to deliver it, if they want to pick it up, or if they want to get it from the farmer's market, because we are at the farmer's market the second Saturday of every month as part of our outreach to the community. And that's also part of our business recruitment too. Is that me? Hold on. As part of our recruitment, we are also, so that one card that you see is our introduction to, it was me, Mayor, it was our introduction to businesses to say, hey, we're actually in Roseville, you don't know we exist, but we are here for some of them. So that's kind of the first piece. We have another targeted mailing piece that will go to them after that, which we will see kind of what our numbers are. I think you all know I'm real big on data and numbers. So we'll kind of see what our return on investment is and kind of what our conversion rate is as the months go on. We also have a partnership with the Northern Regional Center. This is a partnership we do with Northern Lights. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's an initiative that they have, Living in Good Health Together. So what the chamber does is, which I'll talk about too with the mayor, is we actually sponsor this show. It's part of the platform that we use, which we go online and do. It's very easy to use, very interactive with the things we've been able to do. I've actually taught some of the staff at the Northern Regional Center how to use it, so that if Wake County decides they want to pick it up, they can use them as a model of how to grow their technology base, to show them how user-friendly it is, how easy it is to use, and things like that. So we just did a show this past month on veteran resources in Wake County, and we had quite a few people on to talk about the resources. You won't see me on the show. I'm behind the scenes. You'll see me at like a recognition at the end, just because they make us come on, Em and myself. But this is something the chamber sponsors on our platform, which we're excited to share our resources. That's kind of what we're here for, to make sure we're doing that part to give back to the community too. And speaking of that, I will be partnering myself and Alan Smith with the mayor. Can I talk about it, Mayor? No?
Go right ahead.
I don't put it on camera now. Okay,
go right
so
ahead.
we also will be doing a mayor show once a month. We will not be on camera. It will be the mayor and his guests. That's also something that we will be sponsoring from the chamber to support the town and its work and initiatives and things like that. So happy to do that. Our first show is September 9th. That's our kickoff that evening at 7 o'clock online. So make sure you interact with us on Facebook. We'll be on Facebook and we'll be on YouTube. And I'll check to see if we can get on the town's Facebook.
Be nice if we can get a link or something.
We'll talk later, Kelly.
We'll
I'm
talk
sorry.
about
Kelly gave me that look like, Rachel, we didn't talk ahead of time. We'll talk later. I got you, Kelly.
Seen it before.
Look. Looking at numbers of the chamber, I know we had talked before of looking at the number of members that we've lost, not of the total 2020, but total 2021. We have dropped 15 members. Part of that was in our efforts to say, we get it, everyone has had their challenges, but we've done a lot, honestly, to work with our chamber members. So those reasons are non-payment of dues, businesses that have closed, people that have changed their model, people that honestly just can't afford it. I do have those listing of businesses. I won't call them, I do want to call some of them out, but I won't do that because I'm on tape. But if you want to sneak a peek at it, Mayor, I'll get it to you, just in case you know some of them. I won't do that on camera. Also, we have 17 new members in 2021 so far. A lot of those new members, I know once a question was asked on Launch Roseville and how many of those people actually joined the chamber. A good percentage of our numbers have come from that Launch Roseville, not just this past cohort, but other cohorts. Also, we've gotten a huge response from some of the businesses are actually from our mailing that we've done. So that's really exciting too. And we also have a new one, which I'm really proud of. Subway has been in this community for a long time. And I heard that it was just something, couldn't get Subway. Owner is fabulous. Her kid goes to Thales. Meet people, talk to them. Really excited. And actually their employees are really part of why they became a chamber member. So kudos to them. Looking at, so our chamber current membership numbers are 152, 17 new, 15 dropped. So it's almost like we're still sustaining. I said we hover around that 150 mark. I'm hoping that will change, of course, as Michael and Commissioner Sutton and myself, I guess, continue to work and talk to more businesses and recruit more businesses. Looking at our current MOU expenditures, I know that's something that's not really we can talk about right now, but hey, I'll just kind of give you the total. So the total that we've spent to date, no, not to date, as of June, actually, is $6,529.83. There's still more expenses that will actually be charged to that, and that's just once we get billed. But I hope that as we go along, you see the fruits of the labor and the work that we've been doing. Our military appreciation luncheon was one that was actually we added when we did the revision in April. That was such a huge response. Mayor was there, Commissioner Vilga was there. Those guys loved it. And they sent me a card and said, I look forward, do you have your date for next year? That was pretty much their way of saying, you better do it next year, Rachel. So very sweet of them. Quite a few sent me cards, and I met quite a few spouses too. So I am very appreciative of that and being able to actually hold that event. And I found out when you feed veterans, they are very, very happy. And that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. As far as update events that are happening, we kick off Youth Leadership Roseville on the 19th of this month. Really excited about that. We're able to look at doing some different things based off of our MOU funding. So the kids are really excited about that. They're going to do headshots this year for the first time. Wow. Pray. They're going to do headshots. We actually were able to get them polos because, of course, we had a short year. So when we go out in the community, they will be branded so that you know who they are. That's all part of making sure we brand Roseville. That's what we want to do. We have great students, which we have learned from tonight. We have some really great students and talented students in Roseville who are doing great things. So I probably missed something, but.
The Amazon locker.
Listen.
I meant to mention it, and
okay,
I forgot.
I wasn't going to steal Michelle's thunder, but she's not here, so. I'm really excited about the Amazon locker. So if you don't know, Amazon Hub Locker is now next to Arise. We've been waiting. It was honestly overdue for quite a while. This will be a huge asset to Roseville. The closest one, I think, is on Spring Forest Road, which will bring a lot more people into Roseville, expose them a lot more to our businesses in our community. So we're really, really excited about that. So those are great things that happen when our businesses partner with us. When they work with us, they tell us about stuff, we put it out there to the world. And also it helps recruit more businesses as we try to talk to people. And I always tell someone, they said, oh, Rachel, I don't need the chamber. My businesses is doing great. I won't call them out, but they're in this shopping center. But I don't need the chamber. But let me just say, it's not about you needing the chamber, but the chamber could need you. And this will be a way for you to bring your brand and what you're doing to be successful, to share it with other businesses so you're not just successful by yourself. We want to be successful as a community, not as individuals. So that's my last bit. Did I leave anything out?
No, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rachel.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you coming out. Just a couple of thoughts on the. I can't figure out why any business would not want to be part of the chamber, even if they're not active. It doesn't cost that much, and
And we don't.
it's probably cheaper than a ad in Wake Weekly, which is not being read very much right now.
No
But
comment.
but
Our
you know,
chamber member, no comment.
I can't find why anybody would not be part of the chamber. I really can't. I would not want to be part of the chamber.
I
So.
think it's an education piece too, people wanting to know what we do. Actually, the pandemic has been great for us to showcase what we do. It gave us an opportunity to kind of stop and rethink our business model, what we do, how we do it, has been really good for us. I'm active on other boards, like I sit on the ACCE board, which I know April's familiar with. I'm sorry, Commissioner Sneed is familiar with. I also now am participating in Leadership U Humanity, which is sponsored by the Corn Furry Foundation. That was actually something that Rex said, Rachel, we want to sponsor you. Will you participate? And I said yes, not realizing what I was getting myself into. But even that is great exposure for Roseville, because I will tell you, I didn't realize it was only 35 people from across the world. When the guy said, I'm from Paris, France, I would like open my, like, wait a minute, what am I in again? And then all of a sudden it was, I'm from Indianapolis, I'm from Chicago, I'm from Florida, I'm from Atlanta. I'm like, what is this again? And I'm looking at the businesses, and I will tell you, it's some very impressive businesses that are listed in this program. And of course, here I am. I'm from Roseville, you know, and everybody, you could hear them typing in my little group to Google us and see where we were. And I tell them we're a suburb of Raleigh. That's what I tell people, we're a suburb of Raleigh. And then they found the great articles about us. So kudos, Michael, you know, us being ranked for this and ranked for that and commercial growth and all that other great stuff. So pluses.
Awesome.
Yeah.
One other thought. I thought it was really good to have that parade during a school day. I think it was really benefit for the kids. So I know we'll support the Saturday and the Sunday thing, but one of the thoughts I have, and it's kind of dangerous, but it may, you know, maybe talk to them, you know, instead of doing it where the middle school, maybe start at Jones Dairy and come straight through town that way, and you bypassing all the businesses, and we may interrupt traffic for a few minutes, but seemed like that would be good if we want to do it on a school day, is start at Jones Dairy rather than middle school. Just a thought.
I mean, I'm open to suggestions. Now, of course, Mayor has heard my spew on why we had it that date and time. School was given a limited time of what it was they had to do. The students said, we would love to hold a parade. Principal reached out. Of course, we'll do whatever we can. The kids have had a crappy 2 years. Let's just be honest. This was something, and when you look at the videos and look at the response, when you see students posting saying, this was the best part of my whole year. Joanna was there. Look, she was there. I mean, it was just amazing. They had such a rough year, and they enjoyed the parade so much. So even for my businesses that were not happy by the traffic jams or the stop in traffic, I met parents who said, I've never been into Roseville for anything, even though their kids go to the high school. They said, and we're sitting at Sonic, everybody's at Sonic eating. We're all eating and having, you know, ices and limeades and stuff. And she looked at me and said, I've never been in town for anything. This is nice, thank you. So there was a lot of appreciation for it. So first time you always have those aches and headaches. I think as it continues to grow, I mean, we got what, 2,400 plus kids at the school? It's a lot you can dump into Roseville.
Yeah.
So it's just, it was growing pains. That's what I call it. But the business is okay now, Mayor. So did he call you? You don't have to tell me. We're on camera.
Thank
You
you.
don't have to tell me.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Great job, Rachel.
Thank you.
job.
Great job.
Okay. Next item is public invited to be heard. Individual wishing to participate in the public is invited to be heard at this time. For any kind of non-agenda item, if you're here to speak on any of the public hearings, I would ask you to wait to that time. But if you want to come up to the mic and have any public comments, you're welcome to do that. We will limit to 3 minutes if all possible. So has anybody signed up, Robin?
No, sir.
Do we have any online comments? Is it anybody, come on up, Betty. I was going to say, if anybody in the audience would like to come up, I'm not going to require you to sign up. If you would, Betty, state your name and address for the record. And
Name's Betty Freeman. Address is 524 Everett Road. Two things. First thing is the thing about the, what's it called, Cobblestone downtown. This fence they have on, what are they trying to hide? I've heard that comment at least 6 times in the last 3 days. I've never seen a construction site of something that's supposed to be something you want to see in the downtown area covered up like they have that cover on the fence. They build a regular fence, not that green stuff on it. And the other thing is the meeting we had on July the 6th, there were at least 6 people here that had gotten letters from the town of Roseville about Jones Dairy, the road between Jones Dairy Road and Chalk Road. Nothing was discussed about it, so they left. And they're not going to come back unless you write them another letter. And they're all being affected by that road you're going to put through. one of the ladies that was here was the attorney that was sitting here that you asked if there were any attorneys available here.
Okay. Anything else, Betty?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. And we'll take note of both of those. Anybody else? Is anybody else in the audience? We'd love to hear from you if anybody wants to speak. All right, moving on. The next item is a consent agenda. There's two, the first two is minutes to be approved. The second one is authorization that we had talked about at the shop. There's a amendment order that we also kind of covered last time, and approval for planner 2 position reclassification. Anything you want to say on that real quick, Kelly, or, because I'm not sure everybody kind of know what that's about.
This is simply taking the approved planner 2 position that the budget calls for and upgrading it to senior planner. We have found that we have that need, a more senior planning staff, so this is approving that classification, making a new classification for senior planner, and we're ready to start recruiting that upon approval tonight.
And I think you talked to us about that at the workshop. Okay. Is it any, like always, if there's anything that the board would like to pull out and deliberate or discuss, we can do that. If not, I'd like to have a motion.
I just want to make a quick comment on what Kelly just shared about the planner 2 position. I know that in consultation with our new HR director, something else I'm happy about, Lisa Austin, I think she's here in the audience tonight. Happy to have you here. Wave your hand so people know who you are. Hi, Lisa. I know that Kelly did that in, consultation with Lisa. And having an HR background myself, I know the importance of having a true HR director in your organization. So I'm very, very thankful that she's here and we're able to do things. We're growing as a town, and I'm glad to see that we're getting in place the things that we need in place and the people we need in place. So thank you both for working on this and doing this. I love seeing it. And I know you guys know I support staff growing. As we grow as a town, we're going to have to grow our people and grow our places where our people sit. So I'm excited about that. So thank you all.
Thank
And I
you.
will make a motion,
Okay.
if you want it, to approve the consent agenda as
Okay.
presented.
We got a motion from Commissioner Sutton. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we got a second from April. Is there any other discussion from the board? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved unanimously, I believe. Now, it's a couple of board actions we have to take. The first one is Park and Recreation Advisory Board. I think Commissioner Vilga and Sutton was appointed as a nominating committee to do the interviewing and come back to us with a recommendation for appointments. So do you have a recommendation?
We do. Wanted to describe it a little bit first. We put out every year for somebody to come, whoever wants to join the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. It's a volunteer position. And basically, we're just looking for people that want to be involved with the community, want to learn about the greenways, the parks, programming, all kind of stuff we do and look at. And we have a third of our group that expire every year. So we look for new people for that. And we've had a couple people that have moved away and everything else. So, of course, when we're at our busiest right now, talking about the farm and everything else, we're at our smallest group. So I've been pushed to get new people. So I want to thank Commissioner Sutton for helping me out. We work together well on these. We've done it in the past. And the people we had put their application in were from all different kind of groups. And it was great to see that. Sometimes you just get, the same thing over and over again, but this time we got a bunch of different people. We had 2 that we are going to ask to reappoint, and that's Mary Kay Powers and Abby Armistead. She's our student on the board. They've done a great job for the board, and we'd like to put them back on. 2 new ones we'd like to recommend. Aaron Geiger, He's lived in Roseville for 3.5 years. He's donated his audio services for Rec Day, Fall Fun Fest, so part of the community wants to get more involved with us. And Richard Armand has lived in Roseville for 16 years, and when we talked to him, he said, I'm retired, and I want to help out. And the biggest thing we've had on our board so far is we need that someone to give us information about what they're looking for when you're retired, what you want to look at you always don't want to sit in a baseball field. That's not going to be what you're looking for. So we need that expertise. So we would like to bring those 4 on board with the board's approval.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Good report. Appreciate you working together and coming up with that list. Is any of them in the audience that would like to be spoken to or recognized? I don't
think we have any
think so
tonight.
either.
Nope.
Okay. So with that, I will entertain a motion from probably one of the committee members.
I make a motion to approve the recommendations that we're putting forward.
Thank
Parks
you.
and Rec Board.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Good job, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you both. We do have a public hearing on the agenda for ANX 21-01, which is 2216 Waite Avenue annexation. Looks like Meredith, you standing there ready to go, so it's all yours.
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. For your consideration is an annexation case. It is ANX 2101. It is a public hearing. It's a contiguous voluntary annexation. The subject property is located at 2216 Waite Avenue on the south side of Waite Avenue. It is 1 acre. And this case is somewhat of a cleanup. The annexation plat is included. This is a closer view. I'll go back for a moment. And we have included a suggested motion this evening for following the public hearing.
Go back to the color slide, and is it the one at the top?
It is the red one, the little tiny red one.
Oh, the small one in there.
Very
Okay.
small. It's only 1
Okay,
acre.
I understand now. Okay, I overlooked that, sure.
Oh, the little bitty one. I was thinking the yellow. Okay.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, I guess the last time it came to us, that wasn't purchased,
Yeah.
so it was,
I remember now. Okay,
that
Thank
he actually purchased, so I guess that's everything now. The whole thing will be one big piece,
Okay.
putting it together. So, so with that, any other questions to the staff before I open the public hearing?
So we're just adding that acre that was not included before.
Yes.
Well, yeah, actually annex it into towns. All right, so I open the public hearing, and is there any, thank you, Meredith. Is any comments from the public in favor? Any comments from the public in opposition? Not hearing any, I'll close the public hearing and turn it over to the board for deliberation and decision.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve voluntary annexation of ANX 2101 Thales Academy for 1 acre located at 2216 Waite Avenue, Waite County, PIN number 1860-151206, into the town of Roseville town limits.
No, second.
Great. So Commissioner Wilson made the motion. Commissioner Sneed second. Is any other discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next one is a public hearing, ANX 21-02, which is intersection of Amazon Trail and Roseville Road, asking also for annexation. And I will open the public hearing. I think we're going to table this, but I open the public hearing and take any comments from the staff.
The applicant has requested this case be tabled until the October 5th board meeting.
October 5th. That's out there a little ways, ain't it? Any questions for staff from the board? If not, I will entertain a motion to table this.
So moved.
Continue it?
We'll continue to table. Either one of them, we're going to leave it open, right? That's the plan.
I think
So-
I so moved it.
So,
I'll second it.
all right, so we got a motion and a second. Is any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any motion carries. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, change gears a little bit here. The next item is a evidentiary hearing, which we have to treat a little bit differently. I will call the case here. This is case SP 21-03, 101 and 115 Rayford Place Drive Development Plan Amendment. And I'll call on the attorney for any legal provision statement you would like to make.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners and members of the public, evidentiary hearings have characteristics different than general legislative hearings that we've just followed with these annexation cases. They're called quasi-judicial. Quasi-judicial means that it's similar to a court hearing, and we follow statutes require us to follow similar rules to those followed in court. For example, the board's decision must be based only upon the evidence presented at this hearing tonight, and site visits by the board, if any. Witnesses must testify under oath or affirmation. The parties may be represented by legal counsel. The parties have the right to cross-examine other witnesses. The parties have a right to object to improper testimony or evidence. There is a right to present rebuttal evidence. All evidence provided by witnesses must be competent and material. Unduly repetitious or irrelevant testimony may be barred by the chair or, in this case, by the mayor. An attorney or party wishing to cross-examine a witness shall arise and wait to be recognized. Normally, witnesses may testify only as to their personal knowledge of the facts of the case. With regard to competent evidence, North Carolina law prohibits a person from giving an opinion about a scientific, technical, or other specialized subject unless the person, by knowledge, skill, experience, training, and education, is in fact an expert on that technical subject. A person wanting to give an opinion as an expert must first state his or her qualifications to be an expert to the board. Unless the witness is an expert on the subject, North Carolina General Statute 160D 14.02 specifically prohibits opinions that the use of property in a particular way would affect the value or other properties in the area, or an opinion that the increase in vehicular traffic resulting from a proposed development would pose a danger to the public safety. Those are subjects which the General Assembly has determined that only an expert may talk about, and only their opinion may be considered by the board rather than a lay person's opinion. Further, a board member shall not participate in this hearing if the member has formed an opinion prior to the hearing that is not susceptible to change, has engaged in undisclosed ex parte communications, has a close familial, business, or other associational relationship with the applicant or an affected person, or has a financial interest in the outcome of the matter. Now, in a small town such as Rolesville, it is quite common that each of you board members will have some familiarity with the property in question, very well may have some familiarity with the owners or other people that are affected. You may go to church with them, you may work with them, you just may pass them on the street. So it is quite common that you have some previous familiarity with it or with the people involved, but what you must declare that familiarity or those previous conversations that you might have had, that you understand that you're not allowed to form an opinion based upon that prior communication or that prior familiarity, and you must confine your decision based upon what you hear tonight, based upon the testimony that you hear tonight. Now, I would ask that if any of you have had some specific communications regarding the case with either the applicant or perhaps someone who was opposed to it, I would ask that you disclose those and that you affirm to your fellow board members that you have not formed an opinion based upon that discussion or that prior communication, and that you will limit your opinion to what you hear tonight. And so if any of you have had a prior discussion regarding it, I would ask that you disclose it for the record and just say that you are not going to base your decision based upon any prior communication that you have. And so if any of you have had what is called an ex parte, and that means outside of the chamber, if you have had a previous communication regarding the case tonight, I would ask you to declare it in the record, briefly describe it, and to say that you will not be relying on any prior communications when you're formulating an opinion. So if any of you have had such a prior communication, I would ask you to disclose it. In hearing none, I conclude and will ask the record to show that there have not been any prior communications, and that all of you will act tonight in an unbiased, free, open manner, confining your deliberations to just the presentation that you hear tonight. That's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
I have not. I have not had any discussion.
Nope.
Looks like the board is unanimous, have not. Okay, let's enter that into the record. I will say, maybe we need to add this into the record, Clyde, is this is not Dave Neal as as his nameplate says there. I think I can confidently say you got more experience than Dave.
And hair.
And I can say that you've been in and out of Rolesville for more than years that we would like to count, probably.
I just assumed we didn't mention the number
Right.
of years, but it has been quite a few.
But I think Mr. Holt is very well capable of being our attorney tonight, and appreciate you coming out and filling in, pinch hitting for Dave, I guess we say.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
That was an awesome explanation. So I just had a citizen that I talked to about just that, because they wanted to discuss a hearing, and I couldn't do it like you did it. But I think it's a good thing when you educate your community on how things work. So thank you for explaining that in very layperson's terms, because I understood it wasn't a lot of Greek going on, which I love. So thank you for that, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate that.
Thanks. Good comment. Appreciate it. Okay, I think there is a few people that would like to enter evidence as witnesses, so I will now ask the clerk to administrate the oath to the witnesses. Encourage everyone that wants to speak. If you think you want to speak, I encourage you to come up and be sworn in now instead of later. So,
Those wishing to speak, would just come to the podium. There is a Bible provided. Place your hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give the board in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, at this point in time, I open the evidentiary hearing, and I will call for a report from the staff.
Thank you, Mayor. So this case is a special use permit for property located at the corner of Redford Place Drive, 101 and 115. The zoning for the property is general commercial, and this plan was previously approved in November of 2019. There were building elevations that were approved as part of that package, and the reason the applicant is back this evening is due to revisions to the architectural elevation. So the case tonight is focused on the architectural changes. The applicant will be up momentarily to present the list of changes. This is what has been provided to staff and illustrated in the plans. The new building elevations are all brick, And again, the applicant will go over these in more detail. The applicant has also provided this rendering that shows what the building will look like once it is constructed, if approved. Our LDO includes these 6 special use permit review standards that will be considered when making the decision for this case. So at this time, I'm going to pull up the applicant's presentation for them. I will let them take over. Thank you.
Before you do, is any questions to the staff from the board? Any follow-up questions, all? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the application and the staff report are admitted into evidence. Next, I will call attorney. Are you attorney, sir? Are you the attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will call the attorney that's representing the party. Is any attorney in the audience that's representing another party other than this one? Okay, good. So I'll allow you to have an open statement there, and then I will ask, once you finish, we'll call up any of your witnesses that you want.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. My name is Worth Mills with Longleaf Law Partners. I'm joined by Mark Phillips of Pabst Design Group and Richard Redfoot of Redfoot Studio Architecture. As Ms. Gruber mentioned, we are here to request architectural changes to the previous development plan, SP 1903, located at 101 and 115 Redford Place Drive. I believe all of you will be receiving copies of the updated site plan here as well. As was mentioned earlier, SP 1903 was approved by this board on November 4th, 2019. And this updated plan now has Rolesville case number SP 2103. These architectural changes do not materially change the form or function of the building and the development. They comply with all applicable requirements of these ordinances, and we request board approval of these changes. So this Google Maps image here shows the property here, 101 and 115 Redford Place Drive. I really just want to highlight the other uses surrounding the property, being predominantly either commercial or civic uses. This IMAPS aerial, last pulled from 2017, shows the 2 parcels outlined there. This map shows a similar aerial with the zoning overlay from IMAPS. As Ms. Gruber mentioned, this property is zoned general commercial, which is again primarily established for commercial uses, and it is the predominant zoning district at this intersection. So on November 4th, 2019, Board of Commissioners approved SP 1903. That site plan called for a 3-story commercial building planned as a medical and retail building, retail on the first floor, medical on the 2 upper stories, with a square footage of 19,500 square feet. In 2020, there was a minor amendment to the development plan that was administratively approved. So if you can see here on the eastern side of the building, this sidewalk was added where, if you can see on this slide, it's a little zoomed out, but there was no sidewalk there under the previous approval. These are some of the renderings from that SP 1903, giving you the Main Street elevation and the Redford Place elevation there, parking lot elevation and elementary school elevation on this slide. So these are the changes to approved SP 1903, now referred to as SP 2103, that are before you today. So the egress stair on the east side of the building has been moved back so that it is partially outside of the building, but remains within the building setback. The depths of the steps have been reduced from 2 feet to 1 feet. The widths of the building building bays have been modified, and those storefront openings have been adjusted to accommodate those new bay widths. The parapet heights have been reduced. EIFS, stucco, and synthetic stone finishes have been eliminated, so the building is now 100% brick masonry. We have changed the colors of said brick masonry. Arched brick details have been eliminated and replaced with a different brick detail. We eliminated the metal canopy that was previously shown on the front door, and the sidewalk along the northeast corner of the building has been removed due to that stairwell addition, and that changes the impervious surface total by 75 square feet. So we have 75 square feet less impervious than we did with that 2020 amendment.
Where's the stairwell?
It'll be on this, this plan right here, where you can see on the eastern side, whereas before you had a rectangular building here on the SP 1903. The new site plan here shows that bump out of the eastern stairwell, and you can see the removal of the proposed sidewalk on that northeast side of the building as well there.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are renderings of the new proposed building. So again, you've got 100% brick masonry. Some of the other elevations here. And here you can see a 3D rendering of the building itself. So as mentioned, there are 7 required findings of fact for the board to approve this case. They're the same findings that the board considered when approving SP 1903 back in 2019. And because the requested architectural changes comply with all of those applicable requirements in the EDO, again, we're not asking for any reductions to setback or anything like that. And they don't materially alter the form or function of the building or the uses therein. We request that the board approve the changes listed here. Myself, Mark, and Richard are here to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
I have one question.
You may ask.
And that was, everything seems to be self-explanatory, and I have no problem with anything, but an explanation, depth of steps in building reduced from 2 feet to 1 foot. All right, that's not up. It's the part your foot goes on, from 2 foot to 1 foot. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I'm Richard Redfoot. I'm the architect with Redfoot Studio Architecture. So the steps that we're talking about in the building's divided into 3 bays basically, and the central bay is stepped back from the 2 outer bays. So that central bay, it was a 2-foot step back, and we made it a 1-foot step back.
All right, that
Steps.
okay.
It's not
a
up, it's a
step.
back.
Yeah, it's a back. It's horizontal, not vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry for the confusion there.
that's fine.
I'd like to say thank you very much for these. They're easy to see, and I'm very appreciative of that. I do have one question. I don't know if I can ask this question or not, but I ride by there every day because it's in the middle of town. And there is a for sale sign there, so I don't understand, is like part of that lot for sale and the other is not, or should that not be there? I've been confused every day that I ride by.
That is the commercial real estate company. They're advertising it as leasable space for the future building.
Oh.
So it's not the property itself, it's for future tenants.
Let's just say for lease.
Okay. So they're working with you all to fill the building? Okay. Thank you.
The question I have is about the parapet being reduced. The screening for the HVAC on the roof, can you describe that a little more?
The reason the parapets,
Answer this question, and then what we'll do is, if you got something you want to go ahead and enter, we'll enter that, because it may cover some of these questions.
so the parapets were reduced for value engineering to reduce the cost. The original parapets that we had were about 6 to 8 feet tall.
Okay.
and reducing that down, so now they're 1 to 2 feet tall. Reduced the building cost by, just that change was almost $200,000 off the shell. The HVAC units, we're going to locate in the center of the roof.
Okay.
So for the, 3-story building here, I don't think you would be able to see them at all. If they are visible, we have specified curb-mounted or unit-mounted metal screening that will go around those. It will match the storefront and the metal on the building, so it'll blend in with the building. I was just at a building yesterday that's 1 story and you couldn't see the HVAC unit, so I really would be surprised if they'll be visible.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I will, at this time, call for any evidence from the applicant or applicant witnesses. So if you want to introduce those, attorney, you're welcome to do that. If you have any witnesses you want to introduce and take testimony from.
No, sir, but we are available if there's any other questions. We appreciate that.
All right, sounds good. So now I'll call for any evidence from parties in opposition and their witnesses. Is anybody in opposition? Please step forward. Okay. Not hearing any. Sorry, cut you off because we're going to get right back to questions. So any more questions from the board?
So I just want to clarify that all of the building is all masonry. Am I correct on that? Or
The entire.
size of windows?
Previously, it was almost all masonry. There was some ephes on the parapet, the canopy. It's 100% brick now.
Okay.
And the stair, when we say we're projecting the stair out of the building, the stair is inside the building. There's just a bump out. The footprint of the stair has moved out. It's still encased within the brick. You can't see the stair.
Gotcha.
We're just trying to pick up as much square footage as possible to make everything work out financially.
So these were the previous renderings where you can see that awning on the front and the ephes accents. And then moving to the new elevations, yeah, the entire thing is brick.
And with that change, when we eliminated the ephes and the awnings, we did go to 3 masonry, 3 brick colors instead of 2 to try to add some interest. And there is a lot of brick detailing in the building that we tried to put an emphasis on that, so to make it a well-detailed building.
That picture right there is pretty accurate of what it's going to look like with the contrast in the bricks and that kind of thing.
Yes, sir, that's based on the actual brick colors that have been selected, so.
Right.
I have a question about something that's not on here, so just tell me if I'm out of line, but I'm going to ask it, if that's okay. The lighting, it seems like very little lighting. I'm always concerned about safety lighting. Are they motion censored lighting? Will there be a little more lighting than what I see? Because this looks dark to me. I'm thinking about wintertime, you're going for an appointment.
There is a code requirement for a minimum lighting level by entrances and
Gotcha.
exits. So there will be wall sconce, up-down lights that light the building and also the ground the whole way around the
Okay.
perimeter. By every door will have a light fixture
Okay, gotcha.
close to it.
I got you. Thank you for that.
And this picture doesn't show parking lighting, but there will be parking lighting, will it not?
Yeah, there will be site lighting provided as well.
I don't see any on the picture, but
That will be provided.
I think
yes,
it's
sir.
required.
Yeah.
And are you all working in conjunction with Michael McFarland? He's our Community and Economic Development Manager, as far as kind of what's going on with the Main Street Vision and all the things that we have coming, so that we are kind of working in partnership? Have you all-
I have not personally been in touch with him. I don't know if the real estate group and the owner group are tied together. That they probably have been, but I have not personally.
Michael's shaking his head, yes. Okay, thank you.
If I may just get his name and address for the record.
My name? It's Richard Redfoot. I'll say my address and then I'll spell it. It's 2515 Saxbahaw Bethlehem Church Road. So SAXAPAHAW. Bethlehem, Bethlehem, Church Road, and that's Graham 27253. Oh, okay, you know. Usually everybody just gives me a funny look.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other witnesses, attorney? Mr. Attorney, any other witnesses?
No, sir.
Okay, this time, then I will ask you if you got any closing arguments you would like to make.
No, sir, just reiterating again that the architectural changes requested here are in compliance with all of the development plan regulations. And again, they do not materially change the former function from what was approved in 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. I will ask if any additional comments from staff.
No additional comments from staff. I'm available for questions if you have any more.
Okay, thank you, Meredith. So with that, I'll ask the board, if you have any questions, I'm going to close the public hearing once we get all our questions out for staff or the applicants. So is there any more questions that we need to ask our visitors or staff? Okay, not hearing any, then I'll close the hearing, and I will turn it over to the board for deliberations.
I'd like to make a motion to approve it.
Okay.
I don't see an actual formal motion, so I'm just going to use the SP, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve SP 21-03, 101, and 115 Redford Place Drive as presented tonight.
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Sutton, and appreciate second from Commissioner Vilga. Any more discussions or deliberation of the board? Not hearing any, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. Motion carries. I think it's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Thank you, board. Appreciate that.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's appropriate or not. Can I ask when they're expecting to start this?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you time. Everything's closed, so you're not entering evidence at this point in time. She's just asking when you're going to start work or whatever.
So the building, this was part of the site design package that we're getting reapproved tonight. The building construction documents have been submitted for permit already. So as soon as we get the permit, demolition permit, they're going to start on the demo and site work hopefully within the next month or so.
Yay.
Nice. And it'll take about how long to build it out?
Probably about a year, maybe a little bit less than a year. The steel company got a good jump on the steel. They said if they had it ordered when they did, it would be 33 weeks lead time just to get the steel in. So fortunately, they got it in before the big rush.
Good job, good job. And so tenants for the building is going well? Can I ask that question?
Yeah, I think that they'll have dental on the top 2 floors and they're looking for a rebuild.
Nice. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Maybe work with Michael and maybe do a groundbreaking there too, because
Yes,
it's a good idea.
Definitely. Well,
All
Thank
right.
you, Meredith. We're so glad you're here too, our new planning director.
Yep.
Glad you're here. Thank you so much.
Certainly, thank you. At this time, I'll call for any communications from the town attorney.
Mr. Neal wishes you were with him.
I bet he does. I bet he does. It's probably cooler there, wouldn't you think? Even though it's not real hot here tonight, it's probably still cooler there, I would think.
It's a well-deserved vacation for him.
Yep. Any communications from staff? Did we have anybody that wanted tonight? I see y'all looking around. All right. Well, welcome, Lisa, our new HR director.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. I would just like to let you all know that I have never felt more appreciated than I have felt here. Amy tells me on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day, how glad she is that I'm here. And she is so giving. Every day she says, I'm going to give this to you. But Amy has done an excellent job of keeping the HR functions afloat for the county, not to have a formal HR background, but she has done an excellent job, and I really appreciate her handing things over to me in such good condition. I really do appreciate that. I do have a report tonight just to let you know what's been going on in the HR department. I don't like to use needs assessment. I just like to say, I try to find out where I can add value. So we've just been looking at everything that's been going on, and we're just trying to standardize particular practices, actually set up some standard operating procedures, things of that nature. We have started with our wellness program. In the past, we have basically focused on physical wellness, but we are going to be enhancing that to include mental health as well as financial well-being. So we're going to focus on the total employee. And we have come up with a name for the wellness program. It's called RISE, and that is Roseville Inspiring Stellar Employees. T-shirts to be coming soon. Also, we are developing standardized workers' compensation and FMLA practices. Just getting acquainted with the required forms, required procedures, things of that nature. We are also trying to develop standardized formats for posting vacancies, coming up brochures, things like that. Let's see. Also, we have implemented an onboarding program, and it is a work in progress. Meredith and our new Planner 1, they went through the program. Of course, we have to tweak some things, but as I said, it's a work in progress, and it's a way to introduce the organization to our new team members. While we do focus on introducing them to the organization, we also try to make sure they realize that they are an important asset to the organization. We hope that they will realize where they fit in when it comes to realizing the organizational goals and the strategic plan. We want to make sure that they realize they play a major role in that. A lot of times employees don't realize where they fit in, but in order to enhance our organizational development, that's very important. So we're going to focus on that. Let's see. We do have, I mentioned the two new team members, Meredith and James Carver. They have fit right in. We're so glad to have them here. And I guess that is basically all that we've been doing, just a lot of busy work, trying to get things in order, just trying to come up with a baseline, something that we can build on, a foundation. And we welcome any input from staff, from you all. And my major mantra is that HR is here to support staff. Our role is that of support. It's not always to tell people, this is what you're doing wrong, you're in violation, you're out of compliance. It's here to support, and that's what we're going to do.
Great job.
Questions for
So
me?
glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here and to hear that from someone other than Amy.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's great.
Okay, who wants to come up next? Are we going just right down in order? Is that the way we're going to do it, you think, or skip around?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I think that's the easiest way, just going a straight line, right?
Go straight line.
Parks and Recreation has been very busy in the last couple of months with everything picking back up. We're excited to have our largest fall athletic season. It kicks off this Saturday. We've got, last I looked, there's over 660 participants this fall, which is probably close to over 100 more than we typically have. So that's great to see that through the pandemic, we're able to program, people still feel comfortable. And I think we've gained a lot of new folks with our policies we put in place, and then the quality of programming that we always stress to our staff. It's all about the quality, not the quantity. We've been working with summer camp for 7.5 weeks almost now, so we've got a week and a half left of summer camp. I know staff is kind of looking forward to a little bit of break of that. It's been a great summer. Right before we opened summer camp, we were able to go back to our normal capacity of 24 with some lifting of the executive orders. And we've been full almost every single week, so we're real excited about how summer camp's progressed also. So that's been another great, successful program that's wrapping up. We have a lot of special events coming up as well. We're going to continue our blood drives. That'll be every other month. Our next one will be this Friday here at Town Hall. We're almost at capacity with all of our spaces, so there may be a couple spots left if anyone's interested in donating some blood this week on Friday. And again, that's through the Red Cross Association. We also have our movie series kicks off again the second Saturday in August. I think it's August 14th. And then there'll be one in September and October, the second Saturdays of those months. And those show times are around sunset. So this August 14th will be around 8:30 with showtime. So looking forward to seeing folks in the community come back out and getting engaged again. And as Commissioner Vilga mentioned, we are planning to move forward again with our Fall Fun Fest the last Saturday in October. I think it's October 30th. So we're looking forward to that again and getting folks out and seeing vendors and being with our community. I've met with our Open Space Greenway plan. We're still making progress with that, and it's also, we're doing that as a joint with our bike and pedestrian plan through our grant with DOT. In the last 2 weeks, we have met with Wake Forest, the City of Raleigh, and Franklin County. I have a meeting next week with Wake County as all of our partners who we hope to connect with and through with our greenways and the bike plan as well. So that other connectivity pieces, so we want to make sure we're connecting with those, and then we're working with them, see what their standards are, what are their requirements are, and then how are they maintaining, what level of service are they providing, so we can make sure we have the most in-depth plan and it mirrors our peers as well. They're also currently working on our benchmarking to compare us to other neighboring communities, and those of equal size throughout the state of North Carolina. So we'll have that benchmarking a part of this plan as well. So we're excited the progress we're making. We hope to have our next steering committee meeting probably around September, late September. We'll probably have our next steering committee. We'll have a lot of information to report back and get feedback from them as well. There's currently a survey online. If you have not done so, please encourage you to take the survey for Bike Ped and Open Space and Greenway. It can be found on the town's website as well. I think it's under our news. We have a link there. And if you can't find it, please reach out and we'll be glad to get that to you or anyone you know. Anyone you know, please tell them to fill it out. It's really important that we make sure that we hear from all of our citizens. One other thing I would like to talk about is on the public works side. I'd like to really thank the public works staff and all their work in the last month and a half to move from downtown Rolesville to their new temporary location for public works. It was a lot of equipment and materials that they had to move, and it's one of our busiest times of the year with grass growing and everything going. So we appreciate the patience of the citizens. When the grass got a little high, we try to come back and catch it, but it was a lot to move, and they did a great job orchestrating that and making that move. So give them a lot of credit for everything they've done. And then the last thing on the public works, just want to update you on August 10th, we'll have our bid opening for the Old Town Subdivision Resurfacing Project. That's currently budgeted. So as you know, that was the next lowest rated streets in town behind Bowling Drive last year that we completed that resurfacing project. So that PCI that we done 2 years ago, we're working our way up that list to make sure we're covering all of the streets and making sure we are providing quality streets for the citizens as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
One quick thing for you, and I'm trying to think back if you guys do or not. On Facebook, if we have any town events or anything else, if they could be shared as an event on Facebook, it gets out a lot quicker that way, and people actually read it and pay attention to it. And Facebook will actually check and see, your friends of like this, would you also like to attend this? And I feel like we'd get a lot more people if we did that. I think you guys do that, but just for any kind of town stuff, we should
That's
probably do
good,
that.
because it gives reminders, too.
Yeah, it does. It gives you a reminder for it. Yep.
That's great. Yeah, we've got we're reorganizing a little bit how we do our social media, so that's something we can add to that list. I think we have some capacity to be able to do that now.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we offer CPR? I know I asked this question before. CPR classes?
We have not. We do offer classes to our part-time and some full-time employees that we put them through. We've worked with Roseville PD that they have an instructor now who is a certified instructor. So we haven't offered anything to the public as of yet, but it's something we can look into and hope maybe partner with PD, and I think it's Sergeant Williams. Is it Sergeant? Lieutenant Williams on that process as well. So
I think that's just a good community service offering for people to
Or
to
Red
have,
Cross will do it too.
especially what we're going through right now. And then my only other question was the 660. I liked hearing that number of the participants.
Yes, ma'am.
What percentage do you know? How many was, you know what I'm gonna ask, right, Roseville folks?
Yeah, I'll have all that information in FYI, at the- but I know it's, I think it's around, I don't want to say it exactly, it's over 50% are Roseville residents.
All right.
Which if you think about 5-6 years ago, it was 30%. So we're really making a lot of strides bringing up that resident number.
I love it. Great job, JG.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, JG.
Sir.
Appreciate that. He said going in order, so that means you ain't next up, Amy.
Amy.
Are we broke? Is that what you're coming to tell us?
Not yet, no. Not, hopefully never. So good evening, Mayor, County Commissioners. If I have not told Lisa today, I'm so happy she's here. So having that HR function has allowed me to concentrate my time on a big project. I would say this last month, but I'll look at my coworkers, it's probably been more than a month, 2 months, 6 months. I've been holed up in my office working on a financial software conversion. I'm happy to stand before you tonight and tell you that as of July 19th, we are fully and completely on that new system. Took us a while to get through all the different pieces, but now we are 100% on that new system. I'm very excited about what we have seen from it already. We're going to be implementing it in pieces over time in terms of making use of its full capabilities. This system will allow us to go to a more cloud-based system for the bulk of the operations that we do here in Town Hall, getting away from that on-premise server. And it will help us move into a more paperless system, whether that's purchase orders, invoices, timesheets. We're trying to move towards documents that are integrated fully into this system. It has its own internal document management server, so it stores all those documents that we can look at later. So it's really positioning us for the future. I do want to give kudos to our staff, particularly my colleagues in the finance department. We have had a very steep learning curve these last few months, and they have been real troopers to hang in there and learn very quickly and make sure they put that effort into learning this system well. Also to my colleagues throughout the city, town hall, and PD, it's new for all of us, so we're all learning new things, and I appreciate their patience they've had with us as we have all learned together. We are digging out a little bit of a hole. We're a little behind in some of our routine activities, but we should be up to speed very quickly. Second thing I want to mention, I think you got a little inkling of this last week, is the town of Wake Forest contacted me a few weeks ago and invited Rolesville staff to come participate with them in a, we'll call it a networking expo, business expo that they're holding August 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's called How to Do Business. It's really with the town of Wake Forest, but they've invited other governmental partners to join as well, from the state level, the county level, and they've invited us with the town. So I jumped at the chance. It's a great opportunity, just like Rachel was talking before, to get Roseville out there. But it's a benefit to the citizens of the town as well. The more vendors we have that come and bid on our services, the better price competitiveness we have, and the more diverse our vendor base is as well. So Tammy Kroom, she's become sort of our purchasing expert within the department. So Tammy and I will be attending this expo and sharing information about how to do business with the town of Rolesville.
Sounds great.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. You look excited, so.
She gets to come out of her office.
Yeah,
after 6
that's right.
months.
Okay, Chief.
Good evening.
Good.
I was hoping for better weather today so we could hold our National Night Out event. First one, in my understanding, in a very long time. It's one thing I cannot control is the weather, so I am pleased to say that stay tuned. We're going to have a postponed date probably later in September. So as soon as we get something concrete, I was very excited. We had a lot of commitment from some surrounding agencies and vendors, and I hope that they can still come on board in late September. I also want to thank and agree with Ms. Sutton that Ms. Austin has been instrumental in our upcoming, or our now hiring process for our new police officer positions, and Ms. Hill. So thank you for that. That is coming along very well. I think we had 28 applications, which was good. We narrowed it down to 5 for interview and written examination. And we're moving on with a few into the background phase of the process now. So stay tuned for that as well. And real quick, I want to publicly thank my staff and the surrounding agencies, the fire department, Wake County Sheriff Department, Zebulon Police Department, Wake County EMS, several citizens here in the village for their assistance. On July 23rd, we had a 3-year-old girl go missing for about 3 hours. Right around lunchtime, we got the call. So shortly after that, it was very good and comforting for me to know, to watch all the agencies come together without hesitation, without delay, just like we train during one of these events when it's very high stress for being able to locate this young lady. So we did that, and this was a very successful outcome. So I just wanted to thank them publicly. So thank you. That's all I have.
Chief, I was also very pleased to see the outpouring from the community and people saying, I'm available to help. I'm available to help if I need to come out. So it was nice to see the community be there for you all and the parents and the little girl.
Yes, ma'am. Everybody came together. We had neighbors that were home that saw and heard what was going on. It was put up on Nextdoor very quickly of a picture, and trying to see if anybody had their whereabouts. They were willing to bring their drones down to get up in the air to be able to locate her. So it was very good. So
Great outcome, thank God.
it was awesome. So any other questions?
I would just say I express my thanks for that response. I really believe you and all of them you mentioned there made a difference. You really made a difference, and extend my appreciation to your staff on that. And one of the things I was wondering, how does the Amber Alert work? Is that something that you could have used this time, or how does that work?
There are certain stipulations or criteria that you have to meet, and we were getting close to that point, but we had not quite met all the criteria.
And I guess you had no thought it'd be a kidnapping, anything like that?
No, sir, not at that time. No, based on some interviews we had with the father and neighbors, and she just wandered away. She had traveled this trail behind her house for several times with her father, going on a walk in the woods, and while he was working, she just kind of decided to go back on the trail by herself. Wow. So.
Did a great job. And one other thing I would say, you did a great job on being as a meteorologist yesterday. I don't know where you got your information from, but you hit it dead on it. So if we ever need somebody to make a decision for us in any kind of activities in the future, JG, call on the chief, because he knows how to predict the weather for sure.
We were anticipating a lot worse weather, I think, and I didn't know if I had made the right call or not, because it appeared that the storm had started shifting further east, and but we did get some rain, and I think we would get a better turnout from the citizens if the next time we have it, we'll have a little bit better weather. So
yeah, it takes a little courage to make that call, because nothing happened.
I was nervous. I was nervous.
Yesterday he called and said, what do you think? I said, no. This is your call.
He did put it back on me.
Right.
So, and again, I had to do it early enough. Again, like I said, I hope all the people that have committed, that were committed for tonight's event will still come out for the next event.
Right.
And because I think y'all would have been, impressed and pleased with everybody that came out. So.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Chief meteorologist. That's cute. Yay.
Okay, Meredith, you're back up.
I am back again. Good evening once again. So for the Planning Department, first I'll say thank you very much for approving the reclassification of the Planner 2 to the Senior Planner. That position will be very important to assist with current planning activities in the Technical Review Committee. That's something I have tried to jump on as quickly as possible, is getting the Technical Review Committee, or TRC, back up and running and reviewing plans. We do have a significant backlog of various plans and cases that need to be processed, reviewed, brought forward. So we're working as quickly as we can. It will take us some time to catch up on all of that. And as Lisa mentioned, James Carter, our Planner 1, started yesterday, and I did not make him come tonight. It's only his second day on the job. He just moved here. He just graduated from college. He's very impressive. I learned at lunch yesterday that he was a baseball player in high school and coached middle school baseball while he was in college. Wow. So I think that says a lot about his character. And also, speaking of great character, I'm thrilled to have Shelley Raby on the team. I don't know what I would do if she was not in the planning department. And also to say thank you to the brief interim planning director, Kelly, and Michael as well. And today is my day 12 on the job, and it's been great so far. I appreciate how welcoming and supportive everyone has been. Any questions about planning?
We are glad you're here.
Yeah. Only thing I would say is, in the past couple of months, I have received some calls about the delays and stuff, and actually I got one this past week that says, good job. So, y'all are starting to make a difference and getting some things moved out of there, and really appreciate it. And I know it's only going to get better when you get your other people in place and stuff, and just appreciate the hard work that's going on there. So, very good.
Thank you.
You got a good job in 12 days. Now pace yourself.
Yeah.
No, I was told I have 30 days to make it all better, so I got to hurry.
You got, what's that, 18 more days to go then?
A little nervous, but I'll do my best. Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith. Okay, Michael. It's nothing economic going on, is it, from economic development side?
Good evening, everyone. Also appreciative that Meredith's here and James as well. So a lot of land use stuff going on in town too. Community development and economic development. Just a couple things. As you might recall, we put out an RFP for the small area plan and the feasibility study to look at some parcels of land south of the 401 bypass, about 1,000 acres overall. And so that deadline is passed for RFPs to come in, and so we're currently reviewing proposals and hope to have make a selection in the next couple weeks or so. So we're in that process right now. And actually yesterday I went down to Raleigh, to the Raleigh Chamber, and met with Wake County Economic Development. And they and some other municipalities were there, Garner, Holly Springs, Cary, and we just had a good conversation that kind of confirmed for us, I think, that Roseville's on the right track in doing this small area plan to start to identify and reserve land for future industrial and commercial development. It was interesting just to hear, the Garners or the Carys of the world also still expressing concern and hearing them say they don't have enough land reserved for commercial, and everything that's coming in is residential, and especially now with the hot real estate market, So I think we're on the right track, and the sooner we can get this done and start looking at that area, the better. So.
Michael, how many RFPs did you get?
We received 7 from 7 different engineering and economic development firms. So we hope to pick sort of our top candidates and then proceed with interviews and hopefully pick a good consultant for that project. So.
Good.
As you know as well, the Cobblestone development is moving along, and as you can see with the fencing, I did just want to address the citizen's comment real quickly about that fencing. That was expressed to me. The reason for that fencing the way it is just honestly security and safety and security. There's 4 buildings there and a house that will need to be demoed. So they've just kind of said that's you know, especially with the prices of materials really high. They've just had incidents where people will go on the property and steal things and stuff like that. So that was one of the reasons anyway expressed to me why that fencing is like the way it is up there. That kind of, not hiding anything, but just for safety and security. We continue to work with CPL Architects and JG to design the community center building and program that building. So I believe they've been invited to a September work session here to start to talk through and present some of their ideas so far for that community center that's going to go up there. That sort of will be in the center of the Cobblestone development. So, and Redford Place, it was exciting to see that approval tonight, and I do plan to reach out to the owners to look into a groundbreaking event of some sort. So it sounds like they're ready to go, so we'll want to do that soon. I was contacted, just another update, contacted by Mr. Kevin Dick, who's the CEO of Carolina Small Business Development Fund, and this is a nonprofit organization that offered COVID-19 relief fund to small businesses this past year, and they offer some other programs and technical assistance. He mentioned that he actually lives in town, wanted to touch base with me and just kind of have a conversation about any resources that the Carolina Small Business Fund might be able to provide to our small businesses here in Rolesville. So I look forward to that next week. And then just a reminder about the new transit option that's coming to Northeast Wake County this fall. I think you might have seen an announcement about this already called Go Wake Smart Ride Northeast, an on-demand transit service provided by Wake Access, same-day service at a very low cost. I believe each ride will be $2 per ride, and this will cover areas around Zebulon, Wendell, and Roseville, and kind of the surrounding unincorporated areas in the northeast part of the county. So I just wanted to mention that. I participated in the transit study we did with Wake Forest last year, and I know we're still kind of thinking through some options, but this will give us an opportunity, I think, to kind of watch this year, maybe over the next 6 months to a year, see how this program goes, monitor the ridership, and see if we want to do something else, or if that suffices in terms of transportation services. So to request a ride, residents will be able to use the Uber app or call Wake, Go Wake Access Call Center. And so more to come on that. That's going to happen this fall sometime. I don't have a specific date when that'll start yet, but.
We didn't put that Wake Forest Roseville in the budget, did we?
No.
It's not in the budget.
I think we were thinking about touching base again with Wake Forest and talking through some options for moving forward. And I did get an email today from the state demographer who mentioned that the Census Bureau will be publishing the first 2020 census population counts for municipalities and counties as part of their data release on or before August 16th. So we're looking forward to that, to see what where we stand as a town in terms of our population. And then later on in August, so I don't know exactly what the difference is, but the state demographer will send out population estimates for April 1st, 2020, and then they always do every July, every year they do an estimate, so it'll be a July 1st estimate of 2020 as well. So we'll see if anything changed for us between April and July, depending on how many annexations we had during that time. But they're saying that the numbers, for most areas, the estimates will pretty much be the same. So we'll be looking forward to see what the population of Roseville is, or at least was in April and July of last year.
So when you go out and Google it in Wiki and you put 2020, that's their estimate that's coming up?
Yeah, right now.
Gotcha.
So the latest right now, the numbers I've been using are the 8,501 for the population of Roseville, and that was the July 1st, 2019 estimate.
Oh, I see.
And then the census, and instead of waiting every 10 years for the decennial census, they'll do a July every year. So we should get a July 2021 estimate, a July 2022 estimate
Gotcha.
each
good to
year
know.
to give us an idea of the trend of what the population is. But then every 10 years, it's sort of that official census number
Gotcha.
as well.
Good for marketing.
So we're getting ready to get the official numbers.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
In 2021, right.
Lots of stuff happening. I
Yep,
love it.
yep, exciting. So great time to be a resident here and/or starting a business in town, too. So,
Well, thank you, Michael. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you much. And just want to say thank you to all department heads. I know you got a lot going on. You're providing really great leadership, sounds like, to your groups. And but, you know, you can't do it without your staff. So really spread our appreciation to your staffs when you see them, because, you know, all of you got a lot going on and doing a great job. So appreciate the work you're doing. So with that, you want to all clap for them almost. Yeah. So with that, town manager, are you really doing anything with the staff that you have?
I thank them for all their support and work that they're doing. Mike, would you bring up this? Yeah. I just have a couple things to add. It is always a good question, though. I think you should ask that on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
No. Couple things. One is I too am happy Lisa's here, and we also have on the street right now our assistant to the town manager job recruitment. That closes August. Well, first review is going to be August 27th. I anticipate we're going to have a good fair amount of applicants. I told Lisa yesterday, I sent it out yesterday on my LinkedIn. I posted it and sent it out. And by today, I had 400 and some shares.
You had what?
400 and some shares from my LinkedIn account of my share.
I thought you said applicants. I'm
No,
like, what?
no, we don't have that many applicants, but there's gonna be a lot of interest for the position. So we should know, you know, by end of September thereabouts, if we have a good candidate that was going to join us, and we're really looking forward to that. JG brought up a couple public works items. I want to bring up one operational and then an update on our public works facility. If you didn't know, and I didn't share with you, but I did share with you last week, we're having some difficulty getting the yard waste done on time, and it kind of extended and extended. Friday morning, it became pretty apparent it probably wasn't going to get done with the current contractor. So I called up Public Works and asked them, and they helped. They came out on the warmest, hottest day and took on the biggest subdivision and helped with across the street with Wall Creek, and did all that on behalf of the contractor. And so by Friday afternoon, we were done with yard waste. So just a special note of thank you to them pitching in, dropping everything, making that a priority and getting that done. So everybody can continue doing their yard waste for the weekend.
The people of Wall Creek were very appreciative.
Yeah, I was too. Public Works facility, we're about ready to engage on our next level, which is going into some final design of our Public Works facility. So sometime in the next 3 to 4 months, I anticipate we'll be bringing back to you a final design, a final budget. I don't know if we've got the budget right. It's pretty light, I think, for what we're thinking about we're going to need in there. But I'll keep you informed on that as we progress. We would like to get that Public Works facility up in the next year, if we can, because they need a home and they need a place to operate and get that land that you purchased to good use. I mentioned in my update that we had a good meeting with the Wake County Library staff and representatives last week. It wasn't a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. So we talked about creating a memorandum of understanding between the town of Roseville and Wake County on how we are going to enter into a partnership to create a place for them on the property we just purchased. They like that property a lot, and so that is their designated choice. We will talk about the different conditions of that relationship and such. They shared with us their most recent MOU they did with Morrisville when they built a new library down there about a year ago, I believe. It was an MOU that took about 2 years for them to see it to fruition. But it laid out all that partnership aspects. They are very interested in taking us on a tour of a few libraries. So, and I think they're very interested in hearing from us a little bit if we have some thoughts about what we like to see in a library. And I'm going to probably need some help on this because I think it'd be helpful for me to have a connection to you on this effort. So I put it out there that I'm going to ask you, Commissioner Sneed's already piped in and said she'd like to participate, probably one more of you. If you have interest, just let me know. And if there comes 2 or 3 of you, then we may have to toss a coin or we'll figure it out. But I see that taking up some of your time over the next couple, 3 months as we get into different kind of ideas of what we want this building to be and look like, and particularly the funding of it and such from their perspective. So that's exciting. We're looking forward to that. Just before I go to my last item, just remind you that on August 17th is your work session in 2 weeks. It's pretty lengthy. Just want to review it real quickly. We'll have a report out on where, and we were going to seek your interest on how much, if any, funding you're willing to put on potential ballot for spring referendum to fund potentially the farm construction. We will present the costs that's related to the final costs that Commissioner Vilga referred to earlier in the meeting. We'll kind of talk about what it may mean if you are interested in looking at a referendum. We've tried to kind of break it. We're going to try and break it out based upon interest of how much we can do based upon segments of funding. But the real question we're going to ask you, and I want you to think about this, is if you're interested in doing a referendum, the question is how much? That's really the only question in 2 weeks. If you're interested, how much? Because the how much is going to drive the what it is. So that's what I want you to spend a moment just thinking about in your mind over the next 2 weeks is the how much.
When you say how much, are you talking about?
How much millions compare, and what that would mean in pennies?
Increase.
Yes, for referendum.
So in the work session, are we going over the different phases that we discussed before? Because when you say how much, I have to think about.
Yep.
What
So
does
we're
how
not,
much mean?
we're having a difficulty breaking down in phases. We can talk a little bit about segments of each, but the how much is going to drive the phasing. So if you say, for instance, you want to do, you're interested in seeing if the communities will support a $10 million project.
Right, gotcha.
Then we'll take that back and say that can create this, because infrastructure is a big underlying cost, right? And then it's going to be on top of that, what you can do in addition to. So the number is 21 million for the whole thing, just so you know. So now you got to kind of work from there backwards a little bit. But we don't know, for instance, how many 4 ball fields would cost with infrastructure. It's more appropriate to say, if you want to do 5 cents, $5 million, for instance, then we'll come back and say that could create this much.
I got you.
Then we also want to get back on what we delayed 2 weeks ago, which is getting into townhomes and density a little bit. Now that Meredith's got 12 days underneath her belt, she's going to be fully versed on this subject. I think we spent 30 minutes on it this week, didn't we? Yeah. Okay, so we're getting close to being fully versed. But she'll lead that conversation. I think we'll hopefully have a good discussion with you on where you want to go with that. Then we also want to bring back quickly from what you heard 2 weeks ago, this setback issue related to the Walbrook development, and try to walk through what we can do within the code to address that. And then the last thing I think we want to do is talk a little bit about an October date with Wake Forest and a work session, joint work session. They have expressed interest doing a lunch. I think that's kind of good, and I think we could host it. So if we know far in advance, we could schedule that, but I'll put together a couple dates, and if we could have that conversation, if that's of interest to you, and some agenda items on that. So that's in 2 weeks. So that's kind of a good work session night. The last thing I want to bring up is, I had mentioned in my update that we have the opportunity to create new street signs for our Main Street project. I'm passing around what those could look like, versions of those. In other words, we could put Roseville and our logo in there, or we could just put Roseville. But these are from Stantec. They just show you some ideas of what we could put on our cross-section streets. So Main Street would be consistent, but then you would put the same kind of sign on Redford or Young or Burlington Mills. If anything strikes you, let me know now, but I kind of like the bottom two to what would be, as you look at the left, they're a little bit, they're cleaner, I think, from a perspective of these two here. Probably this one here a little bit is cleaner with the swoosh, maybe a little bit the leaf action. But these are incorporating elements of your logo into that. Does anybody have any strong preferences or not dislikes?
Is there a cost difference, or are they all the same?
All same.
I like the big leaf on the bottom.
Behind, shadowing Roseville?
I'm good with, yeah, I like
Yeah.
that, but I'm good with either one.
Yeah, I like the middle one, first row, middle one.
I think incorporating the tower or the clock tower is a little too much.
Yeah.
Oh, too.
So I just think simple swoosh with a leaf element might be the best, potentially. That means we're starting to get close to 100% design. And we're still shooting for an October bid packet, which means that you would, I think yesterday, Michael, correct me, we penciled in your approval of bids for the first meeting in January. If all goes generally well. We're still waiting for some reviews from DOT on things, but the project is moving along, and we're ready to kind of get it out there. Part of that, if you remember also, is that on that date, we'll probably bring to you, we need to hire a construction inspector that will be our representative in the construction. That is paid by the grant also, and we'll get that process going for a selection of that. You have to follow federal guidelines for that selection and such. But they would be the ones that be out communicating, will help us develop the communication on a regular basis of the project. They'll be out with the contractor, make sure it works, and then they'll be doing all the federal reporting for us, helping us do all the federal reporting, because there's a lot of it associated with this project, so.
So do we, the town board, have sole accountability of approving the contractor?
We'll take the bid to you to make sure your approval of that is.
So DOT doesn't
No,
care?
it's our project. They'll be part of they'll probably be kind of oversight of the process and make sure it meets all the criteria. And they probably will chime in and help us review the bids, but at the end of the day, it is us approving.
Interesting.
Yeah, DOT, this is our project. DOT has said, we're here to help, but we approve.
And these are all the signs, all the street signs in Roseville?
No, this is only Main Street. This is only what we're doing down Main Street. So these would be the ones that'll be part of the new project.
So
Ultimately,
just-
we could go there
Just
with our.
Main Street right now?
Right,
Because I was like, that's a lot of signs.
yeah.
Okay, so at Wall Creek, where it comes out to Main Street, all right, Main Street will be that. Wall Creek will not have any of that logo on it?
No, I don't know about that. I need to ask. These are going to be the ones we're going to put on top of the new, on the mast arms.
Okay.
So these are the mast arm signs,
Okay,
but we
okay, I
could,
understand now.
I think, we need to check on that question very specifically. But I think it's intended to be our message up and down Main Street, any side streets,
Okay.
including any side streets we have.
So all intersections will have mass arms when it's over with?
Hmm?
All intersections will have traffic lights?
We'll have a new mast arm at Young and Main, completely new. We'll continue using one at Redford.
But that one is not mass armed.
That is not mast arms, thank you. So we'll have to do some sort of signs on there, but I'm not certain what. And then we'll have the new one at Burlington Mills. And then we'll probably have, I think there's one down at the other entrance of Walbrook, yeah.
Yeah, Radford has steel poles and.
That's right, you're right. Thank you for reminding me.
Front
Yeah.
the push buttons and all that. It's pretty
Yeah.
modern, but it doesn't have the mass arm.
No, we'll have to put them on some sort of a, current pole that we have out there, a hopefully updated pole.
Right.
That's all I have, sir.
One couple items, you was talking about workshop, and I'll just mention this for the board's, comments, if they have any. Some comments are made to me about, maybe future workshops would be this golf cart thing again. Maybe Kelly, kind of bring that back to us if what we got today is okay, or, and then we got requests again from, a subdivision and want to do their own thing, so maybe bring that back up if the board is okay with that.
I tell you, we beat that thing to death. Every time we agree that it's not safe. And on the advice from the police department. What's changed?
I think it's some new suggestions or something, Kelly, is the whole list?
Yeah, it's a 24-hour old email that came in yesterday, but there's much more effort on behalf of the HOA and the residents, and they are all about street legal now and keeping them in the subdivision. So it's a little bit different twist than it was before.
It's the same development.
Yes. But I think they've heard what you can't support. I think they're trying to address it, but I've not talked to the chief and I've not talked to the mayor. We got this email yesterday, and part of what I said I want a couple weeks, and then we'll come back to you and say, if there's anything new, we'll let you know. You might want to consider it. If there's nothing new, I think I would suggest the mayor's heard what you said.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, there's been a couple of requests to look at, maybe Kelly in the workshop, is this parking in the bike lane stuff going on. I know one of the questions been asked is any liability on that? So maybe between you and the chief, you can come up with any answers to that particular question. And also, I think it'd be good to bring this public parking lot thing up that we did that so late that night, we didn't really understand. Maybe you can explain it to us in a work session.
We're going to be ready, Kenny and I are going to be ready. We've talked about that, and we're ready to bring that back sometime
So
soon.
that's the three that I have heard lately. What about the board? Any thoughts from the board that?
Well, I saw just going back to the golf cart, you said, why are we bringing it up again? I did see I think it was next door post, Facebook, I can't remember, but minors driving those golf carts. And if we're not enforcing the rules that we have on the books, and someone gets killed or hurt, falls out, whatever the case may be, hit somebody. I almost got hit by one day, and they were laughing and giggling. They looked young. I don't know what age they were, but I know something was posted about somebody driving and swerving and playing in the golf cart. So that's a safety issue. And we do not want that article in the newspaper or online.
100%.
So we've got to address it somehow before something happens. Otherwise, we look negligent.
Two things. One is, I think when we get back to this, we'll talk about how we can publicize what you can and can't do right now. And then secondly, please call, because we can't be everywhere. So if you see it, I think the chief would say call 911, and we'll address it if we can find it.
Oh, the police is stopping them. I've had reports from citizens that their kid was stopped on a golf cart or whatever, but.
Yes. And they
So, the police is getting involved, I have to say, for our department, is if they see something wrong, they are stopping them and talking to them. So any other thoughts? If not, I will ask the board, do you have any final communication to make?
I think we need to wish Commissioner Wilson a happy birthday.
Oh.
Yes. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Today is the day?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's got cake, so we're going to go to his house.
There you go. Everybody's invited.
I didn't see it on Facebook.
Intentionally.
Happy birthday,
Thank you.
Any other things from the board? Just in closing, I want to thank all the citizens that tuned in and all the guests that we had, and also really for Rachel coming out. That was a good presentation. So I think we got a lot of good things going on, and I kind of want to just make sure we thank everybody for that. I know, Paul, you had advertised the part 2 of my being on the chamber show for next week. That's going to be postponed to September for my reason. You know, I had to do that, but I don't know how you pull something back. But it won't be next week. But as Rachel said, we're planning to have it this second Thursday in September. At what time she normally does it, 10, I think.
Okay.
And then we'll follow up with the first mayor show at 7, and that will have a couple of really interesting guests on that probably should be pretty. What I plan to do is have one guest, something to do with the growth or the building, or some of the projects we got going on, explain where they're at and what they got coming to us, and then maybe something more community person type thing. So I hope it's educational, and that's the whole thing, is trying, as Commissioner Sutton said, get the message out and communicate with the citizens. And I think it's just going to be another avenue that we can do that and kind of tell what's going on. So appreciate the board for your hard work. We're getting out here not too late tonight, but thank you for all you guys do, and us accomplishing. We got a lot that we're accomplishing right now, and thank you for that. And finally, Dave. Don't look like Dave, but just want to thank you for coming and filling in for Dave. And it's always good to have you here, Mr. Holt, and welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
You don't have to wait for Dave to go out like he did.
I was just mentioning to the town manager that the first Rolesville meeting I went to, the population was 584.
Wow. Wow.
That was in 1980.
Right.
Wow.
So I have seen a lot of the success
Yeah, you have.
has come, and you all need to be proud of it, should be proud of it.
It's amazing.
Probably a lot less going on back then, wasn't it?
But it was still neighbors, a lot of the same problems, just perhaps on a smaller scale.
The trash is not getting picked up. Is that what the garbage is still sitting up there. That's right. That's our main job, is keep the trash picked up. So appreciate it. Thanks, Kelly. Thank you, team, for all they do. So with that, during the meeting, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Look at the two citizens.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Good to see Charles. Hadn't seen Charles in a long